It has been 40 years since Top Gun roared onto the big screen and changed Hollywood forever. The film that made fighter jets cool, leather jackets iconic, and Tom Cruise a god. But here is what nobody tells you. Behind that glossy, high-octane surface, there were broken careers, shocking health battles, tragic losses, and reinventions nobody saw coming. Today, we are looking at the full Top Gun cast, then and now. And trust me, some of these will genuinely surprise you. Let's start with the man himself. Tom Cruise was just 23 years old when he strapped into that cockpit and became Pete Maverick Mitchell. And nothing was ever the same again. Top Gun did not just make Tom Cruise famous. It made him a phenomenon. The film grossed over $356 million worldwide on a budget of just $15 million. Overnight, Cruise became the biggest movie star on the planet. But then, something unexpected happened. Instead of coasting on that fame, Cruise pushed harder than anyone thought possible. Rain Man, born on the 4th of July, Jerry Maguire, Mission Impossible. One calculated risk after another, and every single one paid off. But it was not all smooth flying. His very public involvement in Scientology drew controversy for decades. His couch-jumping moment on Oprah in 2005 became one of the most mocked clips in television history. His split from Katie Holmes in 2012 dominated headlines worldwide. Hollywood started whispering that Cruise was finished, but here is where it gets remarkable. In 2022, 36 years after the original, Tom Cruise released Top Gun Maverick. He was 59 years old. The film made $1.49 billion at the global box office. It became the highest-grossing film of his entire career. Not bad for someone the industry had quietly written off. Today, Cruise remains one of the last true movie stars, doing his own stunts, defying gravity and defying age. His story is a breathtaking reminder that the most dangerous thing you can do in Hollywood is bet against Tom Cruise. Now here's a name that might hit you right in the nostalgia. Kelly McGillis was 28 years old when she played Charlie, the razor-sharp intelligence officer who captured Maverick's heart. She was magnetic, confident, completely unforgettable, and audiences assumed she was about to become one of Hollywood's biggest stars. But then, she vanished. What most people don't know is that McGillis had already filmed Witness with Harrison Ford the year before Top Gun. She was nominated for a Golden Globe. The offers were pouring in. But McGillis quietly stepped back from the spotlight, deliberately. She chose theater work, smaller roles, a life outside the Hollywood machine. In 2009, she publicly came out as gay, a brave and deeply personal moment that she handled on her own terms. She was notably absent from Top Gun Maverick in 2022. McGillis addressed it herself, saying plainly that Hollywood was not interested in casting her, and that she had made peace with that. There is something quietly powerful about a woman who walked away from the machine on her own terms. Today, Kelly McGillis lives privately, and by all accounts, contentedly. Sometimes choosing yourself over the spotlight is the boldest move of all. If there is one cast member whose story will stop you in your tracks, it's this one. Val Kilmer was just 26 years old when he played Tom Iceman Kazansky. Cold, calculating, absolutely electric on screen. And here's something most fans don't realize. Kilmer actually auditioned for the role of Maverick. He wanted the lead. But director Tony Scott cast him as Iceman instead, and Kilmer was furious about it. Yet somehow, he made Iceman so compelling that half the audience secretly rooted for him over Cruise. After Top Gun, Kilmer's career exploded. The Doors, Tombstone, Batman Forever, Heat. He was widely considered one of the most gifted actors of his generation. But then, his reputation began to unravel. Co-stars and directors lined up to call him one of the most difficult actors in Hollywood. John Frankenheimer famously refused to ever work with him again. Roles dried up. The phone stopped ringing. But nothing could prepare anyone for what came next. In 2015, Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer. The treatment robbed him of his voice, one of the most distinctive voices in cinema history. When Top Gun Maverick brought him back in 2022, his scenes with Cruise were raw, wordless, and devastating. The audience knew exactly what they were watching. Val Kilmer passed away on April 1, 2025, at the age of 65. His story is a profound reminder that talent, when it is real, leaves a mark that illness and time simply cannot erase. If Top Gun has a soul, it belongs to this man. Anthony Edwards was 23 years old when he played Nick Goose Bradshaw, Maverick's loyal, warm-hearted wingman. And when Goose died in that cockpit, audiences across the world genuinely wept. It remains one of the most emotionally devastating death scenes of the 1980s. But here is what most people do not know. Edwards almost did not take the role at all. He worried about being overshadowed by Tom Cruise and nearly walked away. Thank goodness he did not. After Top Gun, Edwards pivoted hard and brilliantly. He spent 8 seasons playing Dr. Mark Green on ER, one of the most beloved medical dramas in television history. He earned 4 Emmy nominations for that role alone. But then, a bombshell nobody saw coming. In 2017, Edwards publicly accused producer Garth Brooks of sexually abusing him as a teenager. It was a courageous and deeply painful revelation. Today, Edwards remains active in film and television, older, wiser, and remarkably resilient. Goose may have died in 1986, but Anthony Edwards has been quietly winning ever since. Here's one that always surprises people. Before she was America's sweetheart, she was Goose's wife. Meg Ryan was just 24 years old when she appeared in Top Gun as Carol, Goose's devoted and heartbroken wife. It was a small role, but it was enough. Hollywood noticed immediately. Within 3 years, When Harry Met Sally turned Meg Ryan into the undisputed queen of the romantic comedy. Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, French Kiss. She was untouchable throughout the entire 1990s. But then everything unraveled very publicly. Her marriage to Dennis Quaid collapsed in 2001 after a highly publicized affair with Russell Crowe on the set of Proof of Life. The media was merciless. Then came years of headlines focused almost entirely on her changing appearance rather than her talent. Hollywood can be breathtakingly cruel. But Ryan quietly reinvented herself, stepping behind the camera and directing her first feature film, Ithaca, in 2015. Today, she lives largely on her own terms, private, creative, and unbothered. Not every comeback needs a red carpet. Here is a name that will make you do a double take. Before he was Andy Dufresne escaping Shawshank Prison, he was Merlin. Tim Robbins was just 27 years old when he played Sam Wells, nicknamed Merlin, Goose's soft-spoken radar intercept officer. It was a blink and you'll miss it role. But Robbins used Top Gun as a launch pad, and what a launch it was. Bull Durham, The Player, The Shawshank Redemption, Mystic River. He didn't just build a career, he built a legacy. He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Mystic River in 2004. But then came the headline nobody expected. After 21 years together, Robbins and Susan Sarandon, one of Hollywood's most iconic couples, split in 2009. No dramatic announcement, no messy public fallout, just silence. Today, Robbins remains consistently active, acting, directing, and advocating. Merlin may have been quiet on screen. Tim Robbins has never stopped making noise off it. Every great squadron needs a commander, and Top Gun had one of the best. Tom Skerritt was 52 years old when he played Commander Mike Viper Metcalf, the wise, battle-hardened mentor who kept Maverick in check. He brought gravitas to every single scene he was in. But here's what most Top Gun fans don't realize. Skerritt almost didn't do the film at all. He was deeply skeptical about the script, worried it was style over substance. He wasn't entirely wrong, but his instincts as a performer elevated every scene he touched. Before Top Gun, Skerritt had already delivered iconic work in Alien and MASH. After it, he won an Emmy for Picket Fences in 1993. Today, Tom Skerritt is 91 years old, still sharp, still respected, still one of the finest character actors Hollywood has ever produced. Some pilots just never lose their edge. If you needed someone to look genuinely terrifying in a flight suit, Michael Ironside was your man. Ironside was 36 years old when he played Lieutenant Commander Rick Jester Heatherly, the hard-edged instructor who pushed Maverick to his absolute limits. But here's the thing about Michael Ironside that most people completely overlook. He was already Hollywood's most reliable villain long before Top Gun. Scanners, Total Recall, Starship Troopers. The man built an entire career on controlled, electrifying menace. But then, quietly, Ironside revealed he had battled cancer twice. He spoke about it with remarkable composure and zero self-pity. Today, he remains active in film and television, still intense, still compelling, still utterly watchable. Some actors play villains. Michael Ironside simply is one, and Hollywood has always been grateful for it. Rick Rossovich was 28 years old when he played Ron Slider Kerner, Iceman's sardonic, towel-snapping wingman. He was funny, charismatic, effortlessly watchable, and audiences genuinely loved him. Hollywood took notice too, briefly. Rossovich landed roles in Terminator and Roxanne shortly after Top Gun. But the breakthrough that everyone expected never quite arrived. The roles got smaller, the profile faded. Then, almost entirely, Rick Rossovich stepped away from Hollywood altogether. He returned to California, built a quiet life, and by most accounts never looked back. There's something almost refreshing about that. Not everyone who tastes Hollywood glamour needs to chase it forever. Sometimes walking away is its own kind of victory. And finally, the ultimate Hollywood plot twist. Barry Tubb was 24 years old when he played Henry Ruth, known as Wolfman, one of Maverick's fellow pilots in the squadron. He was young, hungry, and ready for his close-up. But here's what nobody expected. Barry Tubb looked at Hollywood, really looked at it, and chose a ranch instead. He returned to Texas, became a working rancher, and built a life about as far from Tinseltown as you can possibly get. He has spoken warmly about that decision ever since. No regrets, no bitterness, no longing for the spotlight. In a town built entirely on ego and ambition, that might just be the most radical act of all. 40 years. That's how long Top Gun has been living rent-free in our collective memory. And what this cast shows us, more than anything else, is that there is no single path through this life. Some chased the spotlight and never let go. Some walked away and never looked back. Some fought battles the cameras never captured, and some left us far too soon. But together, they made something that will outlast all of them. That's the thing about great films. They don't age, they just mean more. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe, because there's a lot more where that came from. We'll see you in the next one.